Yo, what is up? I'm Mr. Anderson, and welcome back to Detective Jake Hunter as time goes by, episode number 4. This is a new case file, so let's get on with it. I don't know why I said Detective Jake Hunter or Detective. I don't know what's going on there, but maybe my tongue hasn't woken up. Last time I tried to record this, my daughter woke up midway, and I said I was going to continue on with the recording, but fuck that. Well, let's just keep going. The world's burning down around me. Why don't I just burn some videos? Oh, calm down. Here we are. Soft, sultry voices. As time goes by. That's a dog. It's not a doggo, okay? It's a fucking dog. Stop saying doggo.
Jake, my boy, what the devil are you doing here?
Oh, what the devil is it your fucking business? Hey, King.
What's going on? Don't tell me you're out in this heat working on a case.
I wish I was, old man. I could use the cash. I was just waiting for someone. What are you doing here, King? On another case?
No, just resting my old bones, and now I have to cough. Give me a second. Anyway, on with the show. The air conditioner at the office is on the fritz again. I can't work without it.
Slacking off again, old man.
Hogwash. Bow wow.
Huh?
Is that Lenny? Jake, is it just me, or does that dog look just like the lead singer of Motorhead?
There's no way that Lenny's King.
Yes, Jake, you're right, but it sure does look like the old boy. Do you remember?
Do you remember? Do, 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 do. I don't want to get copyright claim.
The day I brought Lenny to your office?
Of course I remember, old man. My memory still works. Can't believe it was a whole year ago. Seems like it was only yesterday. Time sure flies. I can't keep it up. There you go. 1 year before, Hunter DA. You going somewhere, duh? Yes, sir. We're running low on coffee. I need to get more. I could feel the sexual tension between the two. At least she's wearing a new shirt. Detective Jake Hunter never changes. Would you like anything from the store, sir? No thanks, babe. I got all the cigarettes and scotch I need. Kissing him. Woo! Of course, sir. I forgot that you don't need to eat like normal people. Is that really a trait of Jake Hunter? I never see him eat. He never eats. Please don't leave the office while I'm out. We don't want a repeat of last week. I have the feeling that Detective Jake Hunter is a lot like Mike Myers' character, the hyperactive boy when he gets chocolate. I don't know if you guys remember that, but if you do, 10 points. Terrorizes kids. Yes, Mom. A real firecracker, that one. Hate to see her go, but I love to watch her leave. Are you talking about that ass? That ass? Let's watch her leave for the office. Once I got tired of working for the cops, started my own detective agency. I saved on rent by living in the office. It wasn't very big, but it was a damn good deal for a Trapedio apartment. Oh, I thought he was talking about his dick. And as long as Julia was my only employee, I wasn't likely to outgrow it anytime soon. Okay, let's look at the door. Door, huh? I could hear the soft noise of leather shoes on the stairs outside my office. They were getting louder. It didn't take a detective to figure out they were heading for my office. Was it Trump? They sounded a little heavy. Yeah. I'm guessing the hands are really small too. I figured they had to be. Oh, it's not an option. I think it's King. It had to be King. Nobody else sounded like that.
Are you there, Jake, my boy? May I come in?
Whoa, you might want to take me out on a date before you start jumping into that kind of stuff. King, just as I thought. Hard to mistake that gait. I knew it was you, King.
Huh? You recognize my footsteps? Most impressive, my boy. I guess there's a reason I keep asking for your help.
He's trying to butter me up for some odd reason. What are you doing here, King? Don't see you much around here during the day.
Yes, of course. Jake, I have a favor to ask you.
Tough case? I could use some work.
Oh no, nothing like that.
Hold on just a moment.
I'll introduce you. Come on, Lenny, don't be shy.
I watched confused as King trotted back to the door. What was going on?
Come on, Lenny. Well, I never. This is not the place for sleeping. Bad dog.
Whatever King was doing back there, it was making a lot of noise. Okay.
What's going on back there?
Oh, he's impersonating King.
Oh, Jake, I'm sorry. Here he is.
King walked back into the office, sweating. He was dragging something large and brown behind him. King, you can't poop everywhere. I know you identify as a bear, but that doesn't... What the... Took me a minute to figure out the brown thing was a dog. Welcome to the new hit 80s movie. Lenny and Jake. Turner and Hooch. I don't know, I'm trying to entertain you.
Is this not what you want? Are you not entertained?
Jake, say hello to Lenny. Sorry, I'm on my second cup of coffee. Lively boy, isn't he? And when you're not trying to, keep it down because your daughter's in the next room, it makes you a little bit more, loosey-goosey. King's smile worried me. What did I want to talk to? Who did I want to talk to? King? Lenny? Lenny? If he even knew I was there, he sure wasn't letting on. The furry bastard wouldn't even look at me. King.
He's been in the force for a long time. When I met him, he was working with my friend Carl Drago.
King. Oh, okay, no. Okay. Lenny? Okay. Am I gonna... Do I have to look at the dog? Lenny was an old German Shepherd. He was pretty antisocial as dogs go. Okay. What do we have to do? Come on. Why do we have to make this so difficult?
Lenny. Come now, Jake. Lenny used to be a great police dog. He just got too old for the police life, so we've had to retire him. He's a very good dog, very docile. You'll barely even know he's there.
I could feel my conviction beginning to weaken. Huh. Oh, goody. King, I hate dogs. No, I don't hate dogs. I can't say I hate dogs. I just can't take care of them. That's all. Don't tell me the favor you wanted to ask me was... Lenny. Don't tell me you want me to keep that dog.
There's the detective instinct at work. Excellent deduction. That makes this easier.
I felt a little ill. Talk, King, Lenny. King, you're kidding, right? You want me to take care of a dog?
But of course. You'll have my eternal thanks if you can look after him. Lenny used to be a police dog, you know.
Yeah, you said that.
I'm sure he'd be helpful to a detective.
I really should talk to Yulia of this first. She has this thing of like throwing her tampons out in the trash bin out in the middle fucking everywhere, and I really don't think the dog wants to eat a blood-filled cannoli. And, what is it? Well, to be honest with you, King, I don't like dogs that much.
Are you serious? That's a shame. He was so excited about staying with you.
I can see the excitement. Why can't you keep him?
Unfortunately, my apartment doesn't allow pets.
Then what about your folks? I'm pretty sure King's folks are dead. Look at him. He's ancient. Just as King and I were discussing Lenny's future, Yulia stepped through the door, her arms full of paper bags. Oh, Mr. Xinksly, it's nice to see you again. Oh, God. She'll back me up, right? She'll definitely back me up. Yulia, thank God. I need you to talk some sense into King. Excuse me, sir. Oh. You're a big boy, aren't you? Is she talking to me? This is getting a little kinky. Is this big sweetheart King's? No, sorry, Yulia. I'm no man. You know, thing. I'm me. I explained Lenny. Oh, talking about Lenny. See? No, can you talk to King? He won't listen to me. I think Lenny likes it here, sir. We couldn't possibly put him out, and luckily I picked up a jar of peanut butter. He's such a smart boy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
You see, Jake, Yulia understands. She can see what a noble, intelligent dog Lenny is. How could you say no to this face?
Well, I think this is a but thou must moment, so... Alright, I'll keep him. Really, sir?
Thank you, Jake. I know you'd say yes.
How could I have been such a pushover? I tried to smile. Let's talk to Lenny. Lenny? I might as well have been talking to a log for all the response I get. I'll pet him. Punch him. Holy shit. Fuck. Scratch the dog behind his ears. Damn, could you imagine just walking up to a dog and fucking just punching it in the face? This is turning into like Last of Us 2 or something here. The mutt just sat there, except I just don't fucking feel bad at all. No matter what game it's in. Trying to eat me, I'm gonna fucking kill you. What the hell was he thinking about? I don't know why people get so sensitive about killing animals in games. Like, I mean, if they are trying to eat you, yeah, it's just like if a woman comes at you hard body, she's taking the toothpick out of her mouth, you fucking punch her in the face. No open hand bullshit. If she wants it, you give it to her. Doesn't matter. Self-defense is self-defense. It looks like he's really taking a shine to you, my boy.
I'm guaranteed I'm gonna have a lot of like people in the comments. How dare you? How dare you?
I guess that's that then. But when I do that, it sort of makes the people that want to do that just seem like fucking assholes. So that's why I bring it up. I don't think. Well, it's high time I was getting back to work. Now take good care of Lenny, you two. Of course, Mr. Xinksly. I could hear King whistling as he walked off down the stairs. Oh boy. Let out a deep sigh. Another... Is this a flash forward?
Right, you are, Mutt. I'm terribly sorry, old boy.
Old Boy, good movie. The Korean version. Not the Spike Lee bullshit that completely missed the point. I hardly gave you a fair shake, I admitted.
I was only trying to find a good home for old Lenny. I did think he would be quite happy with you.
That's a load of malarkey, and you know it, King.
Oh goodness, I haven't upset you, have I?
Nah, I'm just thinking. It was right after that I took on the case. Guess that might be the sort of thing other folks call it fate.
I'm sorry, my boy, but which case?
Come on, King. You're saying I never told you about the Hamblins? Is this sort of like goblins, except made out of ham?
I don't believe you have. Was it exciting?
Well, that depends, old man. You want to decide for yourself. I gotta warn you, it's a long one. Surely a respected officer such as yourself has better things to do than listen to war stories from a private dick. My dick's never private. It's always public.
Horse feathers, Jake. I've always time for an old friend.
Besides, until they fix that air conditioner,
I think I'll leave the police work to the next generation.
TNG, Star Trek. You're a credit to your badge, King. Well, all right, but don't say I didn't warn you. It all started with a phone call. Man, I'm getting fucking dizzy from all these flashbacks. 1 year before, Hunter D.A. Before the phone rang a second time, Yulia had picked it up. Hello, Hunter Detective Agency. Oh, hello. How are you? Yes, I'll put you through to Mr. Hunter. I'm sorry? Can you slow down? Yulia started at the handset. Yulia stared at the handset, stunned. The caller had apparently hung up in the middle of the call. It was one of those IRS phone calls. Yulia? The call? What's wrong, Yulia? It was a gentleman who called himself Valentine Desano. Desano, it sounds really familiar. You mean Don Desano from the Salvatore family? Unless you know of another one, sir. I've never met him. Really? I call from Don Desano. Oh, they're calling him one of my favors. They're calling him one of their favors. Remember, I said, a flashback here. Don Desano said I was going to owe him a favor. 1 year later. I call from Don Desano. What's going on? About the call. What did Desano say? He asked me to tell you to come to his house. And that was it. He just hung up. Very rude if you ask me. Better not let him hear you say that. That does sound like him, though. The Salvatore family controls a big chunk of Vespicio. I gotta get my Italian accent back. It's not hard since I am Italian, but I've had the pleasure of running into them on a few cases. Truth is, they show up quite a bit, but they're not bad. At least as far as mobsters go. That's why I always I find it really funny when someone like tries to call me a honky or something like that on Facebook. I'm not a honky. Still, I couldn't think what might have made Desano call me himself. I think I'll go get Lenny something to eat later today. Would you like that? Yes, you would. I think he's had enough peanut butter. I guess we go to Desano residence? He's not too far. I always like Japanese architecture. I wish I had a house like that. Say hello to the mob for me, sir. It's not the mob. They're Yakuza. I suppose I should tell you, sir, but in this game it is mob. I'll be leaving the office later. I have a little more shopping to do. Do you think you'll be able to manage without me, sir? It'll be tough. Are you picking up stuff for Lenny? Of course. I looked down at Lenny. He looked back at me, his doggy eyes dark and unreadable. If he'd taken a liking to me, like King said, I sure couldn't see it. I pulled a cigarette out of my pack and told myself that Yulia's machinations would eventually win the mud over. Yeah, that does not look like any fucking mobster I know. But is that the same guy we talked to before? Okay, I'm just going to do the Italian because they say it's the mob, but I've never seen a dude like that. I'm glad to see you have arrived, Jake. The Capo Famiglia had been waiting for me. I put out my cigarette in a nearby ashtray and stepped forward. Yeah, I'm sorry, my family never had a Japanese scroll in the background. Whatever that says. If anyone knows what that says, please leave it in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, too, if you haven't done already. No, sorry. Put out my cigarette in the nearby ashtray and stepped forward. The soldier who brought me to the room bowed and walked out, leaving me alone with this Desano. Talk. Valenti. The call. I have a favor to ask of you. A favor? What's wrong? Wouldn't be the first time today. Never mind, it's nothing. What is it that you need? Look, I'm not really comfortable working for the family. This does not concern the family. Are you saying it concerns you then? Not exactly. I'd only met Desano a few times before, but he was usually a straight-to-the-point kind of guy. The favor. You wish to get to the point. Very well. For whatever reason, he was having a real hard time trying to tell me what it was he wanted. There was an incident at the house of a woman named Nabucco Hamblin. Nabucco Hamblin. She was the hostess at a bar that I used to manage. You know, because we have a bunch of fucking hostess bars in America. She's currently married to a gentleman named Roy Hamblin. He likes ham. Ham, I tell you, ham. Her house was burglarized. Burglarized? By the Hamburglar? No disrespect, Mr. Desano, but shouldn't the police handle this? Nabucco told me that she would prefer a detective. Let me know if I'm going a little too ham on this accent. I can appreciate the need for discretion. Nabucco has not provided me with details, however. You will need to ask her to know her reasons. Let's ask about this Nabucco. Nabucco is a good woman. She is beautiful and considerate. Although sometimes she is perhaps too preoccupied with her public image. I think a lot of people are a little too fucking preoccupied with their public image, to be honest with you. I imagine that is why she asked me to find her a detective. He sort of looks like a Kuma a little bit from Street Fighter. It looked like Daisano was a little stuck on that Nabucco Hamlin dame. I figured that was why he was asking me in person. Maybe he had a boner for her. So how do I find this dame? She should be at home. I wrote down Nabucco's address. Daisano told it to me. It looked like she lived near Central Park. Okay, let's move. Trust me, I trust you will resolve this matter. The family appreciates your assistance. It wasn't much of a thanks, but I'd take what I could get. The Hamblin house was nestled away in a quiet residential neighborhood. My client was in that house. Well, technically, my possible client. What did I want to do? Okay, well, can we move inside? After a moment, I managed to locate the intercom button. I cleared my throat, pressed the button, and introduced myself. Hi, I'm Jake Hunter. I'd like a new pair of clean shorts. Oh, I've been expecting you. Please come in. I put out my cigarette and walked through the door. The woman led me into the room. I figured she had to be Nabucco Hamlin. Yeah, there's no woman in America that dresses like that. I mean, I'd love it to see my wife walking around like that. It'd be kind of hot. Thank you for coming on such short notice. I mean, I guess I could do like a fish called Wanda accent for her, but I'm not going to do it. I'm sure Don DeSano told you the story, but I'm Nabucco Hamlin. I still had it. What? She just introduced herself, you idiot. Whatever. The case. My husband's favorite painting has been stolen. I'd like you to find it by tomorrow. Damn. Fuck, that was quick. When? It must have been around midnight last night. Just about midnight. The painting was right here when I went to bed. And when you got up in the morning, it was gone? Yes. I couldn't believe my eyes. Well, believe it. Last night. Are you sure the door was locked last night? Yes, of course. I made sure the windows and doors were locked before I went to bed. But when I woke up this morning, I discovered the window over there was broken. I glanced over at the broken window. I figured I should probably check it out. And when I was done check it out when I was done talking to Nabucco. That's weird. So what is this art piece? If you don't mind my asking, ma'am, is all this art yours? No, I just keep it in my fucking house. Oh no, this collection belongs to my husband. He's always admired art, but he only recently became a real collector. To be honest, I've never really been much for art myself. A stolen painting. This is the painting. Nabucco handed me a photo. It was a Godzilla print. Very impressive. Are you really? You're upset about this? It was a photo of a still life painting of a vase. I'm sure you can pick this up at like Walmart. I mean, I've seen plenty of these photos hanging above people's freaking toilets. I looked at the painting had been on the wall when the photo was taken. It was hard to spot the wall where the picture had hung. It's probably over the fireplace. The artist isn't well known, so the painting has little monetary value. But my husband seems to like it very much. How big is it? I think it was about 20 inches wide. Go ahead and keep that photo. It might be useful to you, and I certainly don't need it. I thanked her and stuffed the photo in my pocket. I decided I'd go to Walmart to pick up the $20 painting for her again. Case solved. I just made $20,000. Anything else? Was anything else stolen? As far as I know, the only item that taken was the painting. Just the painting. The room was full to bursting with pieces of art that looked pretty valuable, at least to me. Had a burglar really broken into the house just to steal one painting?
My husband runs a trading firm. He is currently away on business. I would like the painting to return before he does.
That's why you want me to finish by tomorrow, I take it.
Yes, he'll be home the day after tomorrow.
So? And you don't want your husband to know about this?
Yes.
I got the message. It was not a line of questioning she wanted me to pursue. So why haven't you notified the police?
Notified the police? No, I haven't. I believe I already explained myself.
You don't want your husband finding out, right?
Yes.
That's reasonable. Mr. Hamlin, Mrs. Hamlin, but you'll have a much better chance of recovering the painting if you notify the police. Most burglars are repeat offenders. Chances are the police already have your culprit in the system somewhere.
I'm aware of that. And yet, I'm asking you.
I figured she had to have a good reason if she was that adamant. But I sure would have liked to know what it was. I was starting to feel I had a pretty good handle on the case.
So, will you take my case, Mr. Hunter?
No! Yeah, I'll take it. She looks like she's got a lot of money.
Really? Oh, thank God.
I could almost feel the weight lift from her shoulders. She was worried about something more than just a robbery.
If you don't mind, ma'am, I'll like to get started immediately.
Can I look around this room?
Of course, but please don't touch anything. If anything gets broken, I don't know how I'll be able to explain it to my husband.
Damn, was he like fucking beat her? Inspect the window. I walked across the room to the broken window, itching to pull out a cigarette. The hole in the window was about 6 inches square. A long piece of packing tape was stuck around the edges of the glass. Why didn't he just break out the entire thing? I've seen the technique before. The burglar must have put the tape around the window before breaking the glass. Oh, it keeps the pieces of glass from flying all over the place, and it cuts down on noise. Once the glass is broken, the suspect can stick their hand through the window to open it from the inside. Very strange. The window still was about 2 inches deep and covered in dirt. There were a couple of footprints that looked like someone had climbed through the window. It had rained that night before, and the suspect had left footprints across the backyard. Once they'd gone to climb in the window, the mud they picked up in the yard had rubbed off on the windowsill. Couldn't even fucking wipe it off. If this was Project Zomboid, he'd be in real shit right now. He'd find like a thing of tweezers and disinfectant and keep changing, if you got cut, like fucking terrible. The floor. There were no footprints on the floor anywhere. If the burglar had some in the window, they must have wiped their feet before they walked around the room. That's very nice of them. I'd gone over every last corner of the room with the finest tooth comb I could muster. Sir, we've combed the desert. Fucking love that scene from Spaceballs. Though I'm sure people today would find it highly offensive, and the scene would probably be deleted. So no, that scene never happened. Don't try looking for it. And the movie wasn't even Spaceballs. It doesn't fucking exist. Don't look. All right. I think where we're gonna find stuff is in the backyard. The window that had been broken opened to the backyard. It seemed like it was worth taking a look at. I pushed open the back door and stepped into the backyard. The summer sun didn't beat down as hard in the Hamlin's backyard. The grass was green and soft. The air was cool. Man, what is this? Ants marching? So, coming to and then going fro. Fucking Scooby-Doo right here. I need my dog. I took a deep breath and tried to remember the last time I had a cigarette. Smoke a cig, dude. You're outside. I don't think she's gonna say anything. Let's inspect the ground. The rain the night before had left the ground wet, even in the scorching midday sun. Parts of the yard had been so wet that someone had been able to leave deep, muddy footprints. On concrete? Are you kidding me? What do I want to look at? What is this? White mud? What did I want to look at? I don't know, Scoob. I don't know where they went. They led straight across the yard to the window and then back across. He kept those footprints really tight, too. They seemed natural to assume they'd been left by whoever had stolen the painting. The prints looked like they had been left by sneakers. And if I had to guess at the size, they looked like someone around a man's 5 or 6, or a woman's 6 or 7. Man, that guy has some small ass feet. Know what they say about a man with small feet?
He's got small socks. You know what they say about a man with small socks? They don't say anything about men with small socks. Alright, let's look at the vegetation. I poked around a little in the bushes, but they refused to give up whatever secrets they might have held. Found all I was going to. Okay. Let's go back inside. I went back inside, wiping sweat off my neck. Hello, Mr. Hunter. How's the investigation going? Just finished taking a look at the scene of the crime, ma'am. If you don't mind, I've got a couple of questions. Of course, but before we start, let me get you something to drink. Do you prefer coffee or tea? I like cool beverages. I like cool beverages. When you stick my drink, when you give me my drink, please stick it in the fridge. I'm very singative. Singative, yeah, it's a word. Coffee, tea, or scotch? I'm sure it's past 12 o'clock, but I'll go with coffee. Sure. I watched Nabucco trot out of the room. There was something going on, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I wonder what her shoe size is. Inspect. Let's look around here. Oh, it's got a Hisani Miku statue in here. Oh, no, it's a lion statue. The figurine was some sort of Japanese lion. It looked like someone had just set it down on the table, like I might toss my bills onto the couch. I couldn't tell if it was actually art or just some souvenir from an Eastern tourist trap. I wanted to pick it up to get a closer look, but... Well, let's grab it. I took a look around to make sure Nabucco wasn't in the room. No sooner had I picked it up than an ear-splitting wail tore through the room. Just about dropped the figure before it occurred to me that I'd probably triggered the alarm. Nabucco had told me not to, but I'd been cocky and I was about to get caught with my hand in the cookie jar. What do you think you're doing? Suddenly Nabucco was back, a hurricane of flapping cloth and angry eyes. She's got them angry eyes. Alright, dude, this little statue is alarmed. Why wasn't the painting? Just a second. I'm going to turn off the alarm. I saw Nabucco open up a small panel in the back of the room and press a few buttons. As she closed the panel, that god-awful alarm finally shut off. Seriously, Mr. Hunter? That's why I warned you. Sorry, ma'am. I didn't really know what to say, so I pretended to be very interested in a small statue of some kind of pig. That was the security alarm, I take it. Yes. All of the pieces in this room are monitored by the security system. I guess moving them triggers the alarm, huh? Yes, as you have so aptly proved. Why didn't it go off that night, then? I wonder. Is that the only control panel for the security system? I indicated the panel Nabucco had used earlier. Yes, there's no other way to shut off the alarm. The alarm. Is that the only control panel? Okay. It indicated the panel I used earlier. Shut off the alarm. Okay, so last night. Did the alarm go off last night? Huh? I couldn't say, Mr. Hunter. I was asleep in my room at the time. Look at that face. Bullshit. Her story's a little difficult to swallow. That damn thing had been loud enough to wake the dead. And it wouldn't have gone off unless she turned it off. I don't think she was home. Does your security system keep track of when the alarm's been triggered? Unfortunately, no. It's not exactly a quality product. It only does one thing. That's produce the dreadful racket you heard earlier. Did anyone else hear the security alarm? Well, I guess I forgot to ask. I don't know. It's pretty dang loud. Surely someone must have heard it. Well, I imagine someone did. We were all home last night. We? Who was home last night? I believe we all were. Edward, Jenny, and myself. Huh. Could I talk to Jenny and Edward? Jenny isn't home yet, but I think Edward is in his room right now. Well, you're welcome to pay him a visit. His room is just up the stairs. Looked like she wasn't going to make it easy for me. I'd have to go find the kid on my own. Okay, so they're her kids, I guess, right? Alright, guess we're gonna have to make a move here. I wonder if his... Oh, look at his room. I headed up the stairs to Edward's room. I knocked on Edward's door and heard him scramble to open it. The smell of lube and that distinctive teenager smell, hit my nose. Who the hell are you? Dude, what the hell is that hair? Apparently Edward hadn't been expecting me. You know when you walk into a teen's room, you smell, just... You smell pure masturbation. There's no way I can beat around the bush here. What did I want to do? Okay. Let's talk to Edward.
Pure masturbation. Do.
Sorry. Edward, what the hell do you think you're doing? I'm gonna call the police. Hold on a moment there, pal. I'm a detective. My name's Jake Hunter. What? Detective who? I've never exactly been famous, but it still hurts when people don't know who I am. It occurred to me that Nabucco had chosen not to mention my first visit to Edward. It consequently occurred to me that she had done so little so to needle me. It was not a pleasant thought. I didn't mind a straight-up fight now and again. With this behind-the-back sabotage. I guess try talking to him again? Why should I trust you? Just because you say you're a detective? What kind of idiot do you think I am? Let's see some identification, buddy. I mean, I don't know how this really proves that I'm a detective. I mean, I can just make a fucking business card. This isn't a private dick. I handed over one of my business cards. I mean, I'm a dick, but no one trusts me. Jake Hunter, Detective Agency. Well, I guess you really are a detective. Why are you here? I was hired by Miss Hamlin. You know, this house was burglarized last night, right? Of course I do. Oh, that explains it. I guess you're conducting an investigation, huh? Thanks for all your hard work. I had trouble believing he was sincere. Yeah, he's got that, like, douchebag written all over him. So what about last night, brah? Can I ask you a couple questions about last night? I guess so. I mean, what about? Well, where were you? Where was I? I was here. Home. I locked the door. I was raining last night. I didn't feel like going out. The alarm? The security alarm? You mean the one that just went off? Yeah, well, I mean, that alarm noise, yes. But did you hear it go off last night? Last night? Oh, you mean when the painting got stolen? I really couldn't say. I went to bed early last night. I see. How big is this house that you're not able to hear a fucking alarm go off? Look, the old man's an idiot. His painting got stolen because he's too much of a damn cheapskate to get a decent security system. It's his own damn fault that the thing got stolen if he's too cheap to protect it. He's always been cheap, always pinching pennies, even on things that really matter. I have a feeling that Edward's a little butthurt about something. I've run out of questions for Edward. Haven't you heard enough? Can you leave now, please? I gotta get back to my hentai. Alright, I guess that's it. Living room. I thanked Edward and went down the stairs to the living room. Oh, did you talk to Edward? I had a feeling she already knew the answer to that question. Yeah, your kid's a little jerk. I told Nabucco about meeting with Edward and how he'd been surprised. Yes, I hadn't told him you'd be talking to him. I thought your interview might be more effective as a surprise. I had a feeling the effectiveness of my investigation wasn't the only reason the dame wanted me to surprise Edward. Wanted to see if he would flinch, huh? I really shouldn't say this, but to be honest, I'm not too fond of him. Edward? Yes. I'd really rather not talk about him, if at all possible. They weren't the most messed up family I'd ever seen, but the Hamlins sure had their share of problems. Nabucco and Edward were just the beginning. Please try and keep that in mind. Of course. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. Jenny just came home. Jenny? I'll go get her for you. Just a minute. Let's see what we're working with here. Jenny? Jenny? Why won't she? I'll go look for her, if you'll just wait here for a minute. I watched Nabucco stalk out of the living room. Alright. I stepped out of the living room and onto the hardwood floor of the hallway that led to the door. Oh. I noticed a woman standing by the front door. She jumped almost imperceptibly when she caught sight of me, but a moment later, her look of surprise was nothing but a memory. Hello. You must be the detective that Mother was telling me about.
Yes, my name's Jake Hunter. You must be Jed, eh?
Yep, that's me. Thanks for coming, Mr. Hunter.
Pleasure's all mine. So, she'd been told about me, but Edward hadn't. Why? What did I want to do? Huh. Okay. Jen, eh? Last night.
Last night, I was just listening to my CDs in my room, so I didn't really think I could tell you much about last night.
Huh. Security alarm.
I was listening to CDs with my headphones on. Even if it did go off, I wouldn't have heard it.
CDs, for those who don't know, are a round circular disc that held media on it.
I couldn't think of anything else I needed to ask her. Can I go back inside the house now?
Were you inside the house?
Yeah, of course. Sorry I made you stand out here in this heat. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm still a kid. I can take it.
She gave me a small girlish giggle before she turned and went into the house. Was that like an innuendo for something? Alright, let's inspect around. I took a look around to see if there was anyone to talk to, aside from Jenny and her family. As if on cue, a woman stepped out of one of the houses down the street. Hello, Silver Fox. What's going on, baby? Neighbor. The woman coming down the street looked like a good bet. I put my best smile on, adjusted my jacket, and stepped in front of her.
Yes?
Excuse me, ma'am, but do you live in that house around the corner?
Yes, you are?
Oh, sorry, ma'am. I'm a concerned citizen trying to gather some information on a crime in this area. You and I both know it's getting more dangerous here every day, but the police won't listen to me. Damn police, always holding people down. Police brutality. Defund them. I hope if I can gather enough testimonies from local residents, they might take me seriously. Crime prevention? I hope you guys heard the sarcasm in my voice there, okay? Well, if you're right, it has been getting more dangerous around here. I've noticed that my generation cannot hear sarcasm. They're sort of like the green guy from fucking what's that movie? Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously not too dangerous to talk to complete strangers. Can I ask you a few questions about your experience with local crime?
I suppose, but please make it quick.
Okay, let's see. Neighbor. What did I want to talk about? The security alarm.
Oh, you mean the dreadful racket the other night?
Oh, so it did go off.
Yes, I heard it. It came from the Hamlin house, didn't it? I don't know why it has to be so loud.
It went off at midnight a few nights ago. That awful thing just woke my family up. Maybe the Hamlins don't mind waking up in the middle of the night, but some other people would prefer to sleep at that hour. What about yesterday?
Yesterday?
If it went off, it wasn't at night.
Thank God.
So it didn't go off last night.
It was so quiet as one might expect. No alarms, no surprises at least. Although, I was woken up by the sound of an engine.
An engine? Do you remember when you heard the engine?
Oh my. Around 11? No, I think it was closer to midnight. To be honest, I don't remember the exact time. Although, I must say I do wonder what Jenny could have been doing out that late. She doesn't seem like the sort of girl who has late nights. But she's still young, so...
The scooter. Let's take a look at that scooter. I had a friend we used to call Scooter in high school. There was a red scooter parked behind the front gate. Had this been the source of the engine noise? Huh? The tires were dirty. Muddy.
I can go now? I have to be somewhere.
Sorry for taking up your time, ma'am. Thanks for your help.
Don't worry about it. Good luck with your investigation.
She gave me a final smile and walked off towards the station. I always wanted a scooter, you know. But with my daughter, I'd have to put like a little sidecar. It'd be awesome. But I couldn't help but wonder, how had the scooter gotten dirty? Thanks to what she told me, I had a pretty good idea as to who had pulled off the caper. The burglar was an insider.
Everything I'd seen was telling me the theft had been an inside job. One of the Hamblins had taken the painting. It explained why Nabucco had been reluctant to get the police involved. I don't think it was Edward. I think it was Jenny. Maybe she knew more than she was letting on about the theft. I figured it couldn't hurt to lean on her a little harder, see if she gave anything up. Let's do this. Let's move inside and talk to Nabucco. How come I have a feeling that Nabucco is a stepmom? I was glad to get out of that damn sunlight. Ah, there you are, Detective. You disappeared so suddenly. I've been looking all over the house for you. Sorry, ma'am. I just bumped into Jenny and I had a few questions for her. I know, she told me. Well, what have you found out? Not too much, ma'am, but I'm pretty sure of one thing. One thing. The reason you chose not to involve the police. What do you mean? Her sudden anger was just a poor mask for her surprise. She had suspicions she wasn't sharing about who'd taken the painting. Then again, maybe she was only just putting two and two together just like I was. Let's see. Let's reveal it. Miss Hamlin, I think I know why you didn't want to report this to the police. You've come to the same conclusion that I have. This wasn't just a burglary. It was an inside job. What are you basing that on? Well, two things, man. First off, the security alarm. Floor. A second would be alarm. The living room floor and the security alarm. How does that prove an inside job? Yes. Have you noticed that this part of the windowsill has dirt on it? Of course, it's obvious. But Mr. Hunter, doesn't that show that someone did break into our house? No. Although, that is what the culprit wanted you to think. Look at the footprints. Something isn't right. Not right. I'm sorry, Mr. Hunter, but I'm afraid you'll need to be more specific. There are footprints on the windowsill, but that's where they stop. Huh? There's no mud in the living room. I'm sure the thief just took off their shoes before coming in. Where? Are you saying that someone stood on the windowsill and took off their shoes? I'll admit it's not possible, but it's certainly improbable. Even if they could manage, why would a burglar go to so much trouble? Especially if they've already left footprints leading right up to the window anyway. They broke the window from outside to make it look like someone broke in. Whoever left those footprints did it to try to make you think you'd been robbed, not because they were robbing you. My guess is they walked up to the window through the yard, then turned around and walked back across the yard. Very well, Mr. Hunter. Let's say I believe your theory. How does the security alarm fit in? Your neighbor told me that she didn't hear the alarm last night. No one in the house said they heard the alarm either. It seems likely that it didn't go off. And I'm pretty sure I know why it hadn't. It had been disabled. Once you know how it works, the alarm is easy to disable, right? Yes, I suppose so. The only people who know how to operate it are the three of us. Is that what you're saying? Bingo. I think a burglar would have had a hard time disabling the alarm, which is assuming that a burglar even knows the security system exists, which is even more unlikely. Whoever it was only took one painting, leaving the rest of the room and a number of valuable pieces untouched. Why would someone do that if they didn't know the importance of that painting to your husband? Huh. I see. I guess Desana really does know how to pick them. You're not half bad as a detective. Well, thank you, ma'am. Well, what did I want to talk about? The suspect. I know it may sound like a flimsy excuse, but I didn't intend to lie when I told you we'd been robbed. It's just, I don't want to suspect a member of my own family without irrefutable proof. Does anyone in your family know how to disarm the security system? I think everyone does. It seems like the damn thing has been on a hair trigger lately, so I showed them how to disarm it. I see. Just one more thing. I asked all of you if the alarm went off last night. Why is it that none of you can manage a straight answer? How should I know? As I told you before, I was asleep all night. I didn't hear anything. She was the kind of dame who played it close to the chest, and she wasn't about to let me see her hand. There was something she wasn't telling me, and I had a feeling it was a lot more relevant than she was letting on. The case. Yes, the case. Well, now that I'm convinced it was an inside job, my investigation is going to be focused on your family. I'm going to give you a choice, ma'am. You give me the nod and I'll see this through to the end. Or let me know my help isn't needed. I was never here. Your choice. What I didn't say, because we both knew it already, was if I stayed, it was going to mean digging through more of her family's dirt. I figured a classy dame like Nabucco might not want that sort of scrutiny. Please continue. I need the painting returned, regardless if I may have stolen it. I can little afford to give my family anything less than fair scrutiny. If they are guilty, they will pay the price, as any burglar would. Determined, smart, fair. No wonder I saw a light there. Huh. The scooter. Who's it belong to? The scooter next to the gate is Jenny's, isn't it? Yes, she uses it mostly on weekends. How about last night? Last night? Well, it was outside all day, and it was there when I went to bed. I think that was around 10. I'm pretty sure it was still outside then. When I checked in this morning, it was still there. Did you hear any sort of engine last night? I don't think so. Just like when I asked about the alarm, Nabucco stumbled a little when I asked her about the engine noise. How about Edward? Do you mind if I ask you a few things about Edward? Edward? Yes. He's your son, right? No, he's the son of my husband and his ex-wife. Knew it. So that would make you my husband's second wife. We've been married for 5 years now. Jenny is my daughter from a previous marriage. They're like the fucking Partridge Family. No, not Partridge Family. Brady Bunch. So she's your biological sister? Yes, she is. That explained a lot. What do I want to talk about? Let's talk about Jenny. Can I ask you a few things about Jenny? Jenny's a good girl. If you think she might have stolen the painting, I can save you some time. She's not that kind of girl. Anyone with even an ounce of sense could see that. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hunter? Let's see if I have to talk about Edward a little bit. I heard Edward got into an argument with my husband and left home when he was 18. Several years on his own, he suddenly came back into my husband's life, about a half a year ago. I heard so much about him from my husband, but that was the first time I've actually seen him. I was a little shocked. I remember thinking, why now? I think he came back because of sort of money problem. Money problem? Yes. I've heard that Edward has problems with money management. Since he started living here, he's been getting all sorts of bills for who knows what. I haven't been dragged into that mess yet, but when I think of what might happen if we got involved, I'm just waiting for the day that we find out he's used the house as collateral for some crazy loan. I wouldn't surprise me if he turned out to be the culprit. I bet he's trying to pawn the painting. Damn, she don't like Edward. Do you really think Edward might have done it? Wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure he'd do anything for money at this point. Sorry, man, but I don't think I understand. Didn't you say the painting wasn't worth much? That's true, but really, really only in comparison to other paintings in the house. It's still quite valuable. Then wouldn't he have just stolen something that was worth more? No, Edward didn't fit. This was to get back at the father for something. It wasn't to really steal or sell it. I got an answer for every question I could think to ask. Will that be everything? I hope I've been helpful. I can't think of anything else that might help. Yes, ma'am. That's it for now. You've been a great help. Very well then. I'll just leave the rest to you. Yeah, I don't know. This seems like someone trying to get at the father because they're pissed off about something. Outside. I stepped out of the living room onto the hardwood floor of the hallway that led to the door. How's the investigation going, Detective? As they walked to the front of the house, I noticed Jenny walk from the backyard. All right, well, let's talk to Jenny now. This is a long case. What do I want to talk about? Let's talk about the scooter. Is that scooter always parked here? Pointing at the scooter behind the front gate. Yes, that's where I park it. How about last night? Well, I didn't drive it anywhere, so I guess it would have been there all last night. Did you happen to hear the sound of an engine last night around midnight? Yeah, I think I heard it. Around 11, I think. What did I want to talk about? The scooter key. I just leave it in the ignition. I park it behind the gate, so I've never worried about it being stolen. I see. Do Edward and your mother know how to ride that thing? I'm not sure. I've never seen either of them on it. But they've both got licenses to drive it, so they could if they wanted. Huh. You mean that noise last night? I don't think it was mine. I took a peek outside when I heard it. I think it was a blue scooter. You took a look outside after you heard the noise. But weren't you listening to your CDs? Yeah. Did you have your headphones on when you heard the engine? I just happened to have them off when I drove by. Did you see it out your window? You certainly ask a lot of questions, Mr. Detective. But no, I went to the patio and looked outside. She turned and pointed to a small balcony that jutted out on the second floor, with a pouting lip. Is that your room up there? No, that's the guest room. My room is down the hall. Why would you go to the... what? I see. Time permitting, I needed to have a look inside the house. Very odd. Rain, did you cover your scooter last night when it started raining? I didn't cover it. Well, I didn't know it was raining, so... Really? So when you were on the patio last night at midnight, you didn't notice it was raining? Huh? Oh yeah, right. What's wrong with me? I guess I just wasn't paying attention. You're a bad liar there, Jenny. Edward. Oh, must be because of what Mom told you. Had you heard me talking to our mother? Nosy little kid. Mr. Detective, I'm sure Eddie was in the room last night. Are you sure? Yeah, I think it was around 11:30. I was looking for something, so I poked my head into his room to ask if he'd seen it. But he was already asleep. I didn't want to wake him up. So, he didn't know you were in his room? I guess not. Damn, she's a fucking weirdo. Let's ask about the mom. She was home. Well, last night at least. At least? I had a feeling I knew she was going with that. I was going to ask if Mom, if she'd seen what I was looking for. But she was sound asleep just like Eddie. Was that around the same time you looked into Edward's room? Yeah. I found it myself a little later. Talking to you is exhausting, Mr. Detective. So many questions. Sorry, ma'am. I'll try and talk to you somewhere with chairs next time. Don't sweat it. If we're done, though, I think I'm going back to my room now. Jenny gave me a short wave and walked through the door, shutting it behind her. What did I want to do? Let's look at the scooter again. I had a hunch the scooter was important, so I gave it a thorough going over. There was some evidence of rain on the body, but the tires were clean. The tires were just muddy. That was odd. Could have sworn they'd been dirty the last time I looked at them. Had someone cleaned off the scooter? Strange. Okay. Let's move. I didn't need to split just yet. Let's look at the scooter again. There was some evidence of rain on the body. Tires were cleaned. The house. The Hamlin front yard was larger than the others in the block, so their house was a little further back from the street. The patio Jenny mentioned was walled in by the houses on either side. I guess there was about 65 feet between the two walls. Okay. We've already seen this. It was a pretty low traffic area. I could only see a handful of people on the street. Barely a sound, too. Pretty quiet place. Alright, can I go back in? That was a weird thing I did with my tongue. I was glad to get out of that damn sunlight. Nobuko wasn't in the living room. It was empty, silent, and unfriendly. Edward's room. I headed up the stairs toward Edward's room. Oh, it's you again. Edward did not appear to be happy to see me. Okay. Talk. Edward. Him. I already told you that I was sleeping in my room last night. What else do you want? Well, you see the case has changed a little, so I thought I'd ask you a few questions from a new angle. You see, I'm not looking at this as just burglary anymore. Pretty sure it was someone inside job. Oh, I get it. I'm the suspect, right? Well, yes, but so is every other member of the family who was in the house last night. But I'm first on the list, right? The old lady's got to think it's me, I know it. Well, you can suspect me all you want. Just leave me alone until you've got some facts. Damn. Alright, why are you asking me? Why should I know what she was up to last night? Some bad blood between the two of you? Can you blame me? You've met her. Most of the time she refuses to talk to me. And when she does, it's just condescending bull. I'm starting to get a little tired of her crap. She's so sure I came back here to weasel some money out of my dad. As far as I'm concerned, she's about the same thing. Just a gold digger who's shacking up with my old man to take his money. Huh. They deserve each other. A real pair of tightwads. Damn. Angry much? I don't know what she's up to last night, but she's a good kid. I don't know. I'm getting some bad vibes. I think, why is my computer freaking out? Don't know. She's nice to me. No one else here is. I feel sorry for her. No one should have to deal with the shit that goes on in this family. I have a feeling that it was Jenny. They're painting her too nice. I noticed Jenny's scooter outside. Was it out there all night? How the hell would I know? I was in here all night. I don't think Jenny used it, but I hardly know if she did. I did see it this morning when I was outside. If someone did use it, they must have put it back. Well, if you didn't see it, maybe you heard it? Heard it? For all I know, I slept through an alarm going off last night. What makes you think I'd wake up to hear a scooter drive by? Didn't look like I was going to get anything useful out of Edward. Done? Could you please leave me alone then? Damn, the fellow didn't seem like he was in much of a mood for talking. Huh, I guess we'll move. Living room? I thanked Edward and went down the stairs to the living room. Nabucco was in the living room. It was empty, silent, and unfriendly. We're going to move to the backyard, the one other place we didn't really looked. Pushed open the back door and stepped into the backyard. To be where she'd been when I saw her, Jenny would have had to cross the yard somehow. But there weren't any footprints that looked like they could have been hers. The only explanation is that she'd walked across the tiled path instead of through the yard. What do I want to look at? So, we're going to inspect the vegetation. I examined the bushes, taking care not to step on the footprints. I was about to call it good when I noticed a muddy trail in some bushes. At first, I was a little disappointed in myself. I hadn't seen the trowel when I examined the same bushes earlier. Had I missed it? That's not a fucking trowel. It's a thing of a towel. Oh. I wiggled and pushed my way into the bushes after a short struggle on a stubborn branch. I had the towel in my hands. It was covered in mud, but it looked like its original color had been white. Most of it was muddy and wet, but a few places were still white and dry. It couldn't have been there the night before. It would have been soaked all the way through from the rain. I pulled out an evidence bag and dropped the towel into it. Huh. Move. Out. Front. You know, I think that was just used to wipe off the towers. It took a moment to brace myself for the heat of the street and walked around the front of the house. Oh, detective. Jenny was standing in front of the house. That's strange. What is she doing out here again? About the scooter that is parked out front. Didn't we already talk about the scooter? Yeah, we did. I just need to make sure. Make sure? Are you positive that nobody used the scooter last night? Well, yeah, I mean, there's no sign it was used, is there? It didn't look like she was going to be telling me the truth anytime soon. Reveal. I'm pretty sure someone used your scooter last night. What? What makes you say that? 3 things. First, tires, they were muddy, and the noise, and the towel. That's it. But the tires, they might be clean now, but they were dirty earlier today. Is this your towel? No. I figured the mud on the tires was wiped off with this towel while I was in the house. Whoever did it just tossed the towel in the backyard. Figured they were in a hurry. Are you accusing me? Right now, you're looking pretty good for it. If you think about the timing, there's no way it was your mother. Why not? She's the only person who knew I was going to show up. You and Edward didn't know about me until you saw me. So if my mom had done it, she would have cleaned up the scooter before you showed up? Yeah. But even if we ignore that, you're still my prime suspect. I saw you heading toward the backyard right after we met. Moving on to the engine noise you said you heard. I told you it was a blue scooter. Are you saying I'm lying? Yeah, that's about the size of it, bitch! You said you went to the balcony after you heard the engine, but I don't think that's possible. Huh. See. There's no way you could have seen the blue scooter. What do you mean? You can barely see the street from the balcony. I didn't actually measure it, but I'm guessing there's about 65 feet between the house on either side of yours. How do you know? Your house is a little further back from the street, and the other houses are on the block, which means the houses to either side of you obstruct your view of the street. So 65 feet of the street is still quite a bit of street. True, for a person to walk, maybe. But it would only take a scooter a second or so to make it that far. You said you went to the balcony after you heard the noise of the scooter. It would have been out of sight by the time you got to the balcony. Well, maybe I heard the sound from ways away, as the scooter drove up. A scooter makes almost no noise. You're telling me you could hear it from a block away? Get out of here. I see your point. So I guess you figure I went for a ride on my scooter last night, with the painting I stole. Whoa there, little lady. I never said anything like that. As long as the key's in the ignition, anyone can drive it. But I cleaned it up so it wouldn't look like it had been used. Doesn't that make me an accessory? This is bad. You may have lied about the scooter, but I don't think you lied about being home last night. Huh? You're the only person who gave me a specific time for the engine noise. And you told me your mom and Edward were home. If you'd gone out last night, you wouldn't have had any reason to tell me that. You told me they were home because you were, and you knew that they weren't. You wanted me to think everyone was home, a nice, happy family. Why would I do that? Well, it's really just a guess, but maybe you stole the painting and it's still in the house? In the house? I haven't found anything to suggest the painting was taken out of the house. Of course, if someone outside the family took it, then it would be natural to assume that it's not in the house. I'm guessing that's why you were so desperate to convince me that your family wasn't involved. Well, what about the scooter? Well, if I'm right, it doesn't have anything to do with the theft. Of course, like I said, it's only a guess. Gosh, it does kind of make sense, though. She seemed awfully impressed for someone who'd just been accused of a crime. That girl was an odd bird. Talk. Jenny. Of course, it's also possible you're just trying to cover for Edward or your mother. Well, with the way you've been acting, I'm guessing that guess isn't too far off. You told me you didn't know whether or not the alarm went off to cover somebody's ass, didn't you? What makes you think that? Telling me that it didn't go off would be as good as just telling me the whole caper was an inside job. You did everything you could to cast suspicion outside your family. Of course I did. Because none of us stole the painting. Nobody in the family would do something like that. I don't know what you think we're like. I don't want you to think we're like that. It could have been one of us. Couldn't have been one of us. It has to be a burglar. She sounded like she was trying to convince herself as much as she was trying to convince me. From the sound of it, she wasn't having much luck. What should I do? If it was Mom or Eddie, how could we be a family after that? How am I supposed to keep this family from falling apart? Solving family problems and providing comfort aren't exactly skills I'd put on my resume. I stood there awkwardly, wishing I had a cigarette. It was right about then that I realized it was going to be my job to knock down this house of cards.
I see. Tough cases just seek you out, don't they, my boy?
I was sure they didn't. Of course, maybe if I said no once in a while.
So what happened to the Hamblins?
Before we get to that, I've got a little test for you. Test? Yeah, I want to see if you were listening.
Excuse me? Of course I was listening.
Well, I guess you'll do fine, won't you? It's a long story. Don't you think we should make sure you've got it right so far?
I still think you're making fun of me. Well, why not? All right, give me your best shot.
All right. What do you want to talk about first? Let's answer questions. Oh, Jake, I'm ready. All right, first. What had been stolen from the Hamblins' house? A painting.
It was a painting.
Did Naboko report the incident to the police?
No. No, she didn't.
When did I have to find the painting by?
The next day.
By the next day. She sure wasn't making it easy for you, wasn't she, my boy? Who had stolen the painting? Who stole it? Unknown.
We hadn't figured it out yet.
The Hamblins had a pretty messy family tree. What was Nabuco's relationship with Roy? Second wife. She was Roy's second wife, which means that Edward is Nabuco's... stepson, right? Yeah, stepson. He was her stepson, and Jetty was Nabuco's biological daughter, lover. She was her biological daughter. It'd be kind of hot, actually. Edward and Nabucco didn't get along very well. They barely even talked to each other. Why didn't Nabucco like Edward? Left home, right? He left home. I found a scooter parked in front of the Hamlin residence. Whose scooter was it? It was Jenny's. It was Jenny's. Was the scooter used the night of the incident? Used. It was used. The scooter was used. Who cleaned up the scooter and tried to hide the fact it had been used? Jenny. Jenny Hamlin did. The last question is, what was the weather like on the night in question? It was rainy. It was rainy. I see. You've still got it, old man. 100% correct.
Ho ho ho, come on, my boy. I may be old, but I'm still a cop. But you still haven't told me who stole the painting. It must have been dreadful for them, whoever it was, the poor family. It couldn't have been easy for you either.
Yeah, sir. Huh? Sorry, I'm late. Sir, have you been waiting long? Of course not, doll. Just came a little early so I could take some time to enjoy the scenery. Besides, King's gotten too lazy to work, so he decided to come out here and bother me. Mr. Kingsley.
Good afternoon, my dear.
What a fortunate coincidence for you, sir.
I must say, my boy, I hardly expected that your appointment today was with Miss Marks. Threw me a bit of a loop, it did.
Really?
Well, you know, I really only see you together at the agency.
Yeah, I guess never thought of it that way. Well, I'm glad you're here, babe. I was just filling King's ear with some bull about the case last year, you remember? Of course I do, sir. I suppose we won't be going anywhere for a while then? Of course not. There's a lot left to tell. Besides, you gotta tell King your half.
I'm terribly sorry. What do you mean?
Well, how about we get to what happened after I finished snooping around the Hamlin house? Oh, you mean? Yeah. So I wrapped up my initial investigation of the house and grounds. It'd been a long day, and it took all my strength to drag myself back to the office. Oh, okay, so we're going to have to call it here. Because for some reason there isn't a separation in between the cases. So, yeah. But I guess we'll have to call it here. This is running a little bit later than I thought. I hope you guys are enjoying, because Jake Hunter is the bomb. It's very relaxing and calm. If you guys are enjoying, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you haven't, because it makes me feel good. And make sure you have a good night. Good night.